the Misbeerhaivor Podcast. My name is Blake Longfellow, and today is Heavy Hitters beer release. You can tell it's a 9%er because I'm already feeling it, I guess. So let's get this going. Have these 4 awesome guys. 3 of them have been on this episode. More than some of them become co-hosts at this point, but that's fine. Then I had this new voice, which you might have heard him from the Brewer Explorers podcast back in a long time ago, far away in the distance, far away in Star Wars land. But all right, so let's get this going. Who wants to start? Introduce yourself, tell me your roles, and stuff like that.
We'll go from me around the table just because I'm here. Hi, I'm Ron from the Misbeerhaivor Podcast. I'm a third of it. The 2 ladies could not make it today. Missy's working, and Ariana is busy as hell doing all sorts of things. And when I talked to her yesterday, she sounded a little stabby, so we'll let her go get her in Saturday on. I'm out here enjoying Blake's Heavy Hitters, and happy Saturday, kids.
I'm Noah Jones. I am Blake's friend for quite some time, but I am a CityBeat reporter, and I am excited to be here and trying the Heavy Hitters at Loose Ends.
People call me the Gnarly Gnome. That's not really my real name because that would be weird, but that's what people call me. I write about Cincinnati craft beer. I drink Cincinnati craft beer. I talk about Cincinnati craft beer. And I'm not in Cincinnati, and that's out of my comfort zone, but I freaking love it.
I should release it on April 1st so people... I'm kidding.
I did that. I did the Dayton Brewcast.
Yeah.
Over at...
Branch and Bone?
Yeah, Branch and Bone was where we did that. I tried it with a couple other places, and they wouldn't reach back to me, so... I don't like those guys.
I'm John Luce, brewer and owner of Loose Ends Brewing.
Well, it's an honor to have you all. I guess I'm going to start with John. About the beer, I know we talked about it a couple episodes ago, but I want to re-dive into the beer and how you thought it turned out, taste it, and stuff like that. So...
Yeah, I mean, happy to make another triple hazy IPA. We've only done one other one in the past called Kardashev's Ascension, and turned out good. We stuck with a little bit similar base, but with this one we leaned more into malted oats, dialed back some Pilsner malt. So it's just North Star Pils, malted oats, all from RAR. Then I think it was like 40 pounds maltodextrin, if people want to ever copy this. Then it was like 65 pounds of dextrose, then an ungodly amount of hops. We use London Fog as our yeast strain for hazy IPAs. We don't go past 2 generations anymore. Got all the way up to 6, 8, 10 generations with London Fog, but it started to drop clear with all of our hazies, so we try to keep it between 2 and 3.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What makes a triple New England triple hazy IPA versus just Imperial? What is the difference? Yeah. Is there a difference?
I mean,
just triple sounds better?
Kind of, sort of, but it's all verbiage basically it's a high ABV hazy IPA. Mm-hmm. You know, Imperial will basically include a triple, and some people make a quad, you know, a quadruple IPA or something. So anything, it's like all encompassing for that higher, anything beyond a double.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the beer I think turned out great. We had, I was just doing the hops the other day. It was 10 pounds of New Zealand Nectaron, which is like one of my new favorite hops, is from Freestyle. And then there was another 10 pounds of Waimea, which was also from Freestyle in New Zealand. And those 2 hops are just some of my new favorites this year that we got a hold of. And then we have a contract with Yakima Chief for Cryo Mosaic, and we added about 7 pounds of Cryo Mosaic. And that's gives it that nice citrusy, piney kind of back end to it, where what I get with a lot of these New Zealand hops is that they can drive to be overly sweet. Even though this beer finished a little higher, it's finished at 1020 or whatever. I'm still a home brewer at heart. I don't use Play-Doh, so yell at me if you want. But It finished at 1020, so which is a little higher, but it still drinks pretty dry and not overly sweet. I think that's primarily because the mosaic in there, it's almost like adding ketchup. It's like cheater hop. So add mosaic to make it great. So
it's a great beer. Like
Thank you.
it's definitely boozy, and it doesn't hide that 100%. But then those hops do kind of throttle it back a little bit and let you drink it a little quicker than you probably should. That's a great beer.
Thank you. Yeah, I love it. I mean, when I added the last dry hop, it was a couple days later. Kind of let everything mellow, bring the temperature down. Started pulling samples for just QA QC, and I was like, oh, fuck, this is gonna be good. I was really excited. So, but yeah, I think it looks great. I think it's a very appealing color. I think it holds its head really well. The aroma's very intense. So, I think it was a good beer. Very, very good. I'm glad Blake decided to choose us to do that with. So.
Hey, you volunteered.
Good job.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
Blake, you nailed this one.
Yeah, no, we were sitting here
Yeah.
for day panel, and you were the first one to say yes. So.
Yeah.
And but I knew you would do well because the one of my other favorite beer is the one you did would prevent suicide. I knew.
Drive Hope.
And when you shared Hazy, I was like, oh my gosh, I know it's gonna be all
Right,
right.
that was one of my favorite ones we made too. That one also had Waimea in it, so it's a really great hop. Very, very good.
Were you one of those brewers that has always been on the kind of the hazy IPA train, or did it take you a little while to kind of get on board and appreciate it? It's a question.
What a question.
That feels very loaded just based off his physical response there. That is a very loaded
It
question.
took me as a drinker a long time to accept it as a beer style. And I don't know if that was just because a lot of them sucked at the beginning, and so I didn't understand it, or what.
Yeah, so I mean, so first and foremost, I started off as like a craft beer drinker, right?
Well,
So like,
can I interrupt before?
Yeah.
So like, just looking at your tap list out there, it's a lot of traditional styles, a lot of
Yes.
German beers, a lot of Belgian beers.
Yep.
It doesn't seem like the tap list that would be the kind of guy that would
Yeah,
like a beer
so
this.
like that when we opened, and this is like long before a lot of the industry, how the industry is now. I was like, I'm just making classic styles. I'm making beer flavored beer for beer drinkers. I'm not going to add fruit to my stuff. I'm not going to add coconut to anything. I'm not going to make seltzers. I'm not going to make, gluten-free sours. I'm not going to do all these things. And I was always like, we're going to make classic styles. We're going to brew continental, meaning all the ingredients come from that region. So if we're making German beer, it's all Weyermann malt. If it's all Belgian beer, it's all Dingman's malt, Belgian hops, et cetera, et cetera. And we had made I've made hazy IPAs just as kind of like, this is what all the kids are drinking, so I'll make it. But I never put as much thought and effort into it as like I did my Munich Helles or my Belgian Triple or, my Belgian Double, which are great beers. But what people want and come in for, the craft beer drinkers, they want the hazy IPAs. And it wasn't until I didn't make them begrudgingly. I just kind of like, I'm making it, I'm checking the box. And then I ended up going to New York 2 years ago, and I don't know if anybody's heard of the brewery called Test. And I had their hazy IPAs, and that's where I learned about like Freestyle Hops, which is a hop grower in New Zealand. And I was like, oh, okay, I got to figure out how to make these. These are just too good. And I've just been on that train ever since of just trying to figure out how to make the best hazy IPAs, and I think we're pretty damn close.
Yeah,
So,
Blake's is really good, and so yeah.
I mean, I've been playing around with a lot of different techniques, different styles. I mentioned earlier, like yeast generations. What does that have to do with the effect? Our lager strain is on generation 18 right now, so like it's not a big deal for us to like reuse yeast, but with our experience in the hazy IPAs, once we get to like that fourth generation, we start to see the haze drop out, which, that could be how we care for the yeast. Maybe it's not the best, because sometimes we'll go cone to cone, sometimes we'll pull it off into a 6-still and store it for a week or two. Maybe it's under pressure, and maybe it's like getting a little bit just under stress, and it just causes that haze stability to come out. But so we've over the last 15 hazy IPAs we've made, we've learned a lot, and this is kind of like the result of all those learning experiences. So I think it turned out to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Definitely.
Because I really think like the hazy IPAs, I was like you, I couldn't, but recently some like your guys and others, the haze IPA has gotten so much better recently. And
I don't know if I actually answered your question, but
You answered without answering it.
Right, I mean, like, yeah. So, like, we didn't open this place sought out to make hazy IPA, but it is something now that takes a primary focus when I'm thinking about my brewing schedule and how much effort goes into designing a recipe. Like, I'm pretty good on the back end of like, oh, this is what works for Belgian, this is what works for German, this is like what I can expect.
Well, there's a lot of brewers that'll make things just because people are coming in the door and asking for it, and they're mad about making it, and they just like, oh, we gotta make a seltzer because everybody wants a seltzer, and it's like, well, either find a way that you enjoy to make the seltzer or don't make the seltzer. Like if you can't like enjoy the process, what are you doing? And like so, exactly. Watching people kind of find that way into enjoying something that their customers are also asking for.
I mean, we've got 7 tanks in here. One of them is empty. The other 3, or 3 of the other 4, or whatever's left over there, they have seltzer in them. Like, we've got 3 barrels of seltzer in both bright tanks and 3 barrels of seltzer in fermenter 4. Right. So, like, we just finished like the base up and we blended everything on Friday. And we're getting ready to package it because they sell like wildfire. Right. So it's not, but again, it's like, I still put the amount of attention to detail of like, how can I make a good flavor out of all this? Right. And the nice thing about making seltzer, if all the people that don't want to make it, you don't have to worry about oxygen. So like, you can just go ahead, open the door and be like, I'll add whatever flavoring I want to and don't have to worry about oxygen. You save a little bit of money on CO2. I mean, you still are sterile with everything, but it's almost too easy not to. My brew day for a seltzer is 2 hours, and that's because I make it 2 hours. I could probably get it done in an hour if I really wanted to. But again, it's so easy to make, like, unless you're begging or like you're waiting for tanks to open up. Just dedicate a tank to it, and we brew it at 7.5%, and then we water back to 5%, depending on like how much flavor or fruit or whatever we're adding. So it's super simple to get a great yield. I think per keg, I don't want to give away our cost per keg, but it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it.
So, like when you're brewing, because you're going to hazy, but you also make lager. So, do you have specific tanks? Say, this is my lager tank. This is all. No, it doesn't matter.
No, we don't designate anything. If we had horizontals, it would be like, all right, yeah, like a horizontal lagering tank. We'd be like, this is just for these 2 or 3 lagers. But primarily, they're all stainless steel. They're very cleanable. So just hit them with caustic, and you're good to go. So.
Are you properly aging your lagers? Or are you?
Oh yeah. Minimum lager. So like B-Man is our American lager. It's 4 weeks. Hertz, our Munichelis, is 4 weeks. Some of our other lagers. So Heisenberg is 5 weeks. Our Kolsch, which is like a hybrid, it's 8 weeks. 8 to 12 weeks. Wow. Yeah, 8 to 12 weeks. So the first time we did it, it was 12 weeks. We won a World Beer Cup award for our Eisbach. That was 6 months lagering. Yeah, I mean, so like, yeah, we make sure we lager for a long time, and that's the big thing with, in my opinion, lagers are like yeast strain and time. And just being patient.
There's some places that I'll go to and I'll try a lager and I'm like, that's good, but there's just something off about it.
Yeah,
there's just something that I can't ever peg what it is. Yeah. And then when you start talking to people like, oh yeah, we're really good. We got this quick lager technique. It's really great. I'm like, that's it. That's what
it's
you're
probably doing. A lager strain that they ferment warm, or vice versa. It's a ale strain that they're gonna ferment just a little colder and they'll let it rip through. Like that was the big Kveik yeast strain like craze there for about a year, where everybody was using Kveik yeast because you could ferment it at 95 degrees.
Magic yeast. You could do whatever you want with it.
You can do it, and you'll never get any off flavors. You can ferment at 95 degrees, brew your Pilsner in 2 days, and let it age for a week, and now you've got a German Pilsner, and you're like, that. There's still something just not
Yeah, listen,
right.
if you're a home brewer and you just want to make some great beer to have hanging out in your garage for your friends to drink, Kveik yeast is awesome. Like, it is a really cool thing for you to use.
Don't have to worry too much about
Yeah.
temperature.
Yeah.
So
Otherwise, stop. Stop what you're doing. Stop
So
it.
you're saying you can't cheat a lager.
yeah, I just don't think you can cheat a lager.
You can cheat, but it's not going to be as good.
Yeah, yeah. There's something
That's what
about
corn
it.
syrup is, right? I'm joking.
Well, I mean, Schlitz. Learn from Schlitz.
Yeah.
Schlitz tried to cheat loggers, and they flew too close to the sun, and it destroyed the company. Learn from them.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we're talking about this, but also there is an elephant in the room right now in the crappy world.
Right now, there's an elephant?
Yes.
I'm not.
High fermenter one.
Oh, that's not nearly as high as I was hoping it would be.
That was just a fart.
But just in the crappy world, our lovely governor's thing went through, and now.
Oh, did it go through? I don't even pay attention.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't really affect Dayton,
The
but
THC
by
thing.
down in Cincinnati, that's where I'm really concerned about, because there were. So talk to me about what you guys are hearing.
I actually have breaking news. My
Oh, boy.
editor just texted me, and it's a
found out that I shit on his
screenshot
doorstep.
with 50 West founder Bobby Slattery, who texted us that the lawsuit that was with the Ohio Supreme Court has been denied, which means
Typical.
that for now there is essentially no hope for the THC products to be manufactured or sold in Ohio. However, I have a second text from Bobby that says that they are hoping to bring different leadership in and vote in the House and Senate to override this bill. And they are going to work. I'm sorry, it's hard for me to speak and read simultaneously. So let me just read the whole quote here. He says, "We know votes and support are there, but Senate President and Speaker have been reluctant to bring to a vote. Brewers in Ohio are going in to unite this call to attention." So it seems like perhaps it's not a done deal, but I would
it's never
imagine
gonna be
that
a done
DeWine,
deal.
well, sure. But DeWine is probably sitting pretty happy in that he has, for now, canceled or banned THC products, which I think has a lot of potential economical recourse. I think I read that there were like 6,000 different manufacturers of THC products in the Ohio Capitol Journal. And
I don't know if it's that many.
well, it seems high, but that's what I thought I read. But
So
maybe
you
I'm
can pull-
wrong.
there's-
There's,
like, you
there's
can
probably
go-
companies that are producing them, but they're all producing them from one actual.
Well, yeah. So
Producer.
so in order to have the Department of Ag has a spreadsheet on their website that says who has all their licenses to manufacture. So there might be like, you have a private label, you have a private label, you've got a private label, but I'm manufacturing
Yeah.
all three.
Sure,
right? You
but
know?
it's safe to say
There's a lot.
numerous
Yeah.
manufacturers in Ohio, and they all have more than one employee, and so potentially those people will be laid off or be seeking new jobs.
Yeah.
And I think that that's going to have a real. I don't know what that percentage will be, but I do recognize that it could have a pretty major factor. You're nodding your head. I'd love to hear what you have to say as the person who manufactures beer.
Loose Longfellow 2026. So or 2028 or whatever. Yeah, like
I can
We'll
quit my
take care of
job
it.
and help them run. That's fine.
The hard part, like, and you talk about 50 West, who I think is going to get hit really hard by this. Like, there's a lot of companies that grew to a certain level pre-COVID or right around COVID, and then were trying to find a way to sustain themselves afterwards. And THC products were that beverage that helped them survive, and is helping them survive at the level that they're at. At this point, like, they're either shutting things down, they're laying off huge chunks of their workforce, or they're shutting down. And
Yeah.
like that's the bigger issue, is that this is a product that, yes, even if you're producing, X amount of THC products and that employs this amount of people, the bigger company is being held afloat by THC products, and
Yeah, I mean, like you
it's
said,
bad.
the numbers of alcohol consumers has dropped significantly since the 2000s, and this was sort of, for a lot of the different companies that I talked to this week, it was pretty much the thing that was helping keep them afloat.
Yeah.
And so them not being able to make this not only makes them go back to the drawing board and try and find a new type of non-alcoholic beverage that's going to excite people and bring them into their tap room and bars in general, or grocery stores or gas stations. I mean, I think truly it's going to take a while for the Ohio beverage industry to sort of get back on its feet because of this.
Yeah, I mean, it's like what you say. If I'm going from THC and now I got to make a sudden switch to non-alcoholic, that's not an easy task. I mean, that's a year plus in development, getting branding, getting marketing strategy, getting label creation and label approval, and like all of that. It is not. And
Sure.
It's also not the same. It's not the same drinkers. It's not the same product.
Right. It's
like
different.
There are
different
people that this is what I drink, and it's like, especially we're in a weird spot in Cincinnati where, like, if I want THC beverages, I'm just going to a different state. I'm getting it from there. Like, if that's what I drink, I'm not going to stop drinking it. I'm just going to drive across the bridge and then break the law, bringing it back across. That's what I'm going to do.
And that's the thing.
I don't break the law.
You really have to look at your state as like free market capitalism, in the sense of like you're in competition with other states, especially with people in like Cleveland, Toledo, Cincinnati, where because for the longest time, people up north would just pop over to Michigan to get all their, hemp products, THC, whatever it be, and bring it back. And I mean, I had friends that were doing hauls of, bringing back however many ounces or whatever. And now you're going to see that with THC beverages.
It's very interesting that DeWine made it so that, all right, can't do it here, and it's now a felony if you bring it across state lines.
Well, for my money on the topic, it's one of those things that, they put it to the voters. We voted to legalize it, and then suddenly they're like, oh no, you didn't actually want to do that. We didn't think that would pass. Shit, we got to fix this. We fucked up. We didn't try hard enough to not let this pass.
Well,
so we're going to start stripping away every piece of it we can, and to try to just a bare minimum. And it's like, come on, guys, you're taking away what we voted for.
It's a little complicated.
I spoke with DeWine's office on this exact topic, and they said that issue 2 legalized the distribution of cannabis or weed or marijuana, whatever you want to call it, specifically from distribution sites. So that does not include gas stations, bars, restaurants, grocery stores.
So what's a district?
Basically, that's the word I meant to say.
The problem is when you go to a dispensary and you want to get like a weed water is what I call it. You want to get yourself a weed water. I just want it's a Sunday afternoon. I'm sitting by the pool. I want to crush some weed. You drink a weed water. I'm not like sitting there and smoking weed or something. I'm not that kind of consumer. I want like 5 milligrams of weed when I'm hanging out by the pool. That's all I want. Yeah. You go to a dispensary and it's like, we don't have that for you. Here's
50.
Here's 50 milligrams. Just drink a little bit.
Yeah.
That's not what I want.
But if it tastes really good, I guess I'm going to kiss the devil tonight. So I drink it all.
Do I just take 4 sips and then I'm done for the day? Like, I don't understand.
How do you moderate 4 sips?
Yeah, to your point, I think what was most ironic about this week is that I was talking to people like Bobby or Adam
Bankovich.
Bankovich, thank you. From Ryan guys, who basically told me that they had been working on coming up with like potential regulations, and they had come up with things like in the age gate, I think it was 21, potency levels. So they wanted to do 5%, which is what Fuzzy Bones was already, and they wanted to do all kinds of different like things to make sure that it was safe and regulated, and the governor still took that away.
It's all about taxes.
Well, so I talked with Scotty down at Urban Artifact about all this, because we have our license to do it, and then at the beginning of 25, I was just like, I'm just going to kind of hold off, and I didn't dive too much into it for a bunch of different reasons. Primarily is the minimum order I had to have for like my THC emulsion. Sure. It was just I would have ended up making like 60 barrels of THC, and I'm like, there's no way I can sell that in my tap room. That's way too much. Right. So, but and this is what like really bothers me about the whole thing, is that people or like the people making the regulations don't understand the brewers or the brewing community. We're already falling under like certain guidelines of age restriction, ABV, label stuff, like label requirements and things like that. Now this had to go through the FDA, which is different than TTB. So we had to have nutrition labels and all that other stuff, which is fine. It's not a big deal. But all the manufacturers that I know and speak to were treating it with the same regulation as alcohol. So 21 and older. And what Scotty was advocating was like making sure that every label had a QR code that took you to the latest batch testing and sending every batch off to get tested. Yep. Which, I mean, it's expensive, but I think that's appropriate, you know, because I've had a few where it's like, oh, this is 10 milligrams and I'll drink 12 ounces of it. And I don't dabble in THC anything. I just drink alcohol. And I had 10 milligrams my first one. I was like, I don't feel anything. And then I went to a different company that had 5 milligrams. I was like, I'm on the moon. And I was like, what's going on? And I don't know what the issues are with like homogeneity or like packaging processes and all this kind of stuff. I still think that's still a little bit of wild west. But I think, you know, having the QR code that says this is the batch number, this is what was tested, and you can look it up just by scanning it on your phone. I think that's appropriate. And
there's so much more to it because it's so easy. Like it's like okay, retailers, obviously there needs to be some kind of law about who can sell it. Like as it's written right now, anybody can sell it. It's an unregulated product. It's anybody can just sit there and sit on the side of the street and sell it. But I recognize that is a gateway for kids to be getting a hold of a product that they shouldn't be getting a hold of. No matter what it says on the can, if it says 21 and up, if that's not illegal, it doesn't matter.
The person selling it has to have like proper training on how you sell it. So whether that's a boutique
and
that
right
sells
now they have to be willing to
Right.
abide by what the producer says that should be done. So there needs to be something done about that. But that seems like it's really easy to do.
Right. I think
there's more to it. Like it's all about money. It's about the taxes. They want it taxed the right way.
So is that really what it was? Like they're not getting taxed
money.
enough, so they're just getting sales tax,
That was
not getting
definitely
production
something
tax.
that Dan Tierney, the deputy director, associate deputy director for Governor DeWine's office, told me. But he also, made it pretty clear that he felt like this was not what voters voted for in issue 2, given the locations that you can get it from.
So I'm gonna
that's
ask
the stupidest thing that I've ever heard.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask people to
what
vote,
consumers want.
and then when the vote doesn't turn out my way, I'm going to interpret it that they voted for something different.
That's not what they were really
that's
talking
what
about.
I was saying earlier. That we voted, they didn't think it would pass, and oh shit, it passed. Now we got to fuck around with this thing and change it to manipulate it how we want.
Government.
I don't want to walk into like my local gas station or my local grocery store and have a wall of like jars of weed. I don't want that.
Like actual buds.
I don't want that. I think
I come from a time where like if you're gonna get weed, you're gonna get it from that random dude, and it might be good weed. It might be some like random skunk weed, ditch weed. You're like, yeah, this is good stuff, and it's like killing you, and it just smells like a skunk.
I think that's the majority of, and I will speak for Ohio. I am the Ohio spokesperson. I think that's the majority of what most of us in Ohio like. We want to be able to get it, but we don't want it to be everywhere. But weed water and and other like tangential weed products. Like, I want to go to the grocery store and I want to get my weed water. I want it labeled exactly how much is in there, and I want it to only be able to be purchased by people 21 and up.
Have it be a consistent labeling, because you're talking about, one was stronger than the other, 5 versus 10 or whatever. And want it to be consistent, and that's enough.
Yeah,
and it's so simple. So simple that I feel confident speaking for everybody in Ohio.
And the thing with like brewers is like we're already abiding by all those things, and beer is significantly more difficult to make as a quality product versus blending some warm water, a THC emulsion, and some flavoring product, and then adding carbonation. It is not that difficult. It's just like making seltzer. It's
you can
not very hard.
accidentally make alcohol at home. Accidentally. Like you can just leave that orange juice and like sitting there for too long. Guess what you got?
Yeah.
Boozy
I still
orange
make
juice.
wine in my bathtub.
I think also it's somewhat important to just like explain how we got here, right? With the farm bill in Ohio that allows people to grow hemp that's under 0.3% potency. And then I think in 2023 maybe, Dan Tierney told me people started to figure out the science behind creating higher potency when you add all of those hemp products together, and that's how we got like Delta 9, and then that moved forward into the creation of these intoxicating hemp beverages. And so I think that they being the governor's office, at least, they were sort of under the impression that it had become a little bit of a quote-unquote loophole, that people were taking advantage of the farm bill, and I think that was probably one of the reasons why they were so against it. So I think that
it's nothing. There's nothing like starting a game that you don't fully understand the rules to, somebody figures out how to win.
Right, and that was one thing that Bobby told me he was very impressed by. The Ohio Senate and Congress people and public officials did a lot of understanding when creating this bill, because he also like helped shape the caveat, as I think everyone at this table understands, that was vetoed in the end. But he felt really good about it because he felt like the people that were the ones making the call in the end took the time and understood the product a little bit further. But I think it might be lost, and I don't want to speak for anyone, so I probably should stop talking. But I'm just not entirely sure. Okay, go for it. Let me keep my job.
I think what the failure of the governor's office, or just like the regulators in whole, is the fact that you've now allowed, whether intentional or unintentional, a new industry to develop. Now you've got I would say the vast majority of producers are responsible, moral, ethical, whatever, and there's a small portion that may be in it just for a quick buck. But those ones that are coming to you with regulations that understand it more than anybody else, you should listen to them a lot more. And again, I go back to like labeling requirements, to like age of purchase or whatever. So I think, and if there's a new industry, there shouldn't be much regulation on it to, hinder it. Like, this was a booming market that had saved a lot of companies. And it's not just in Ohio. I mean, I know several other breweries that have been doing it, from Texas to North Carolina, Florida, some in Virginia, that this was the product that was keeping them alive.
Well, that's why it's all bullshit. Like, it's not like if you've got this industry that springs up and you're like, okay, I see this problem and this problem with it. You find legislation that stops those problems. You don't introduce legislation that just kills the whole thing. You fix the problems. Right. There's more to it. Like, it's all about tax money. Like, it's, no matter what they say, it's all about tax money. They're mad that they figured out a way to get this weed deal passed through with whatever the House bill was originally. Weed is legalized and we get tax money from it, and that's great. And then other people are now producing weed products that they're not getting tax money from, and they're mad about it.
Well, they are getting tax money, but it's not coming from the marijuana tax. It's just a sales tax.
Yeah, they're just getting the 7%, whereas like they would get 7% plus a production tax or something like that.
There are a bunch of children that are mad that they're not getting their share.
What was the part of the law that was changed recently to where the tax money is only being passed to like the local city municipality?
Oh, I don't know.
I was something I read about recently. I live in the city of Piqua, and they have a lot of different dispensaries and places that sell up there. Where else, when they passed this thing, there was a lot of cities that could say, we're going to pass a city ordinance. Yeah. There's no distribution, no weed here. Well, Piqua, it is Piqua, and they're like, whatever. But they changed the rules recently so that all the tax dollars now stay in the city that it was, sold in. Yeah. And they were talking about the city of Piqua seeing like, a $400,000, $500,000 freaking windfall from this. And they're like, oh crap, what are we going to do with this extra money all of a sudden that we weren't planning on? Because it was going to the state, and now it's just staying locally.
Oh darn! What a problem to have. Too much money.
Piqua was sitting there talking about what we're going to use it to, revamp a bunch of these parks and redo a bunch of this stuff, and it's like, guys are talking about tax money. who was getting that money that is not getting it, that is pissed now.
Oh yeah, the state.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, the state, right?
You know, because that's just one little town. How many towns that is now being, forced to be local in, that it was going to the state coffers,
Yeah.
One thing that I was really excited to have a conversation with Adam Bankovich, the CEO of Rheingeist, about was that he made some parallels to the alcoholic prohibition in the 1920s.
Yeah.
And he basically said that this was a really exciting time because it's an emerging market and he told me that Fuzzy Bones was created for him to help enter into other states and for his business to grow and boom. And with this ban now, that's gonna not happen as easily. And so, it's just interesting because, when you look at how alcohol was banned from the 1920s to 1930 something, 13-ish years, now we're sitting at a table with Blake's alcoholic beer on our table, so it comes back. So it makes me wonder if it will make a comeback at some point. And
So I'll see you on this podcast in 100 years with our Blake's THC beverage.
You know what? God willing. But I think what I took out from this week of reporting and speaking with a lot of these THC manufacturers was just the historic moment that we're living through right now, and that gets me kind of excited as a human person.
Oh, it gets me, I get angry about it. When COVID happened and when the world shut down on March 13th of 2020 and the government said, I don't care who you are or what you're doing, you cannot open your doors tomorrow. I thought, well, that's weird.
Harmon did not get that memo.
That's
No, they did not.
That's weird. But then they were like, oh, it's 2 weeks. Let's slow the curve, whatever the
Flatten the curve,
flatten the curve. And I'm like, okay, we can do that. And they're like, oh, never mind. Now it's this long. Now
2
it's
months.
this long. Now you can open up, but you can only have 4 people in your building. And it was like this is government overreach.
Well,
government telling a business how to run and how to operate, and that's wrong. And I feel like after everything shook out from that, and it was not great for a lot of industries. Thankfully, beer managed to overall kind of weather the storm because we're all a bunch of drunks, and we'll figure out a way. We'll drink in a parking lot if we have to. But
I drink alone.
When things kind of started to get back to some semblance of normalcy, which that's arguable if we ever really did, I thought, okay, we saw this thing that the government did. That'll never happen again. We went through prohibition, and we thought we learned from that, and then COVID happened, and now we figured it out. Now that'll never happen again.
It will happen again.
It is happening again. That's exactly what's going on.
We'll all just have to die off for another
my whole
COVID
point.
prohibition to happen.
Is that now you've got the government be like, yeah, we know that you guys started producing this beverage, and we know it's completely legal, and we know it was great. We know you guys are sustaining your whole business on this, but
And more importantly, they're asking for help on it to regulate it. They're asking for regulation, which I thought was so strange.
We don't like it. Stop. And it gets me so mad at our government and how much the power they have. I mentioned it before. It makes me want to shit on people's doorsteps. Let's get in the truck. Let's get to Columbus. Let's go shit on his doorstep.
I stopped following all this earlier this year and tried to just stay out of it. I'm too busy. But so maybe you guys could I know you keep saying taxation is the main reason why, but in order to my 10,000 foot view of how government works, you got to get people to vote a certain way, the Senate or Congress or whatever, and that always to me seems to be backed by somebody, right? Some lobbyist is paying somebody to vote some certain way. These people aren't voting on their conscience or their morals or ethics. So my question is who is against it? Because I can't imagine distributors would be against it.
No, but that's what's so weird about this whole thing in Ohio.
The cocaine industry.
The entire
it's all cartel.
Legalize the cocaine, and then it's okay.
Right.
The bill was written, and it had an exemption for THC beverages.
Right.
It was fine, and that's what everybody wanted.
Yeah.
One person voted different. Governor DeWine. One person went through the bill, put a little line through that thing, and said, nope. The whole thing's fine except for that. It's a law.
Well, he also
That's-
claimed he was
that's-
like worried about
that's where
children
the-
taking the
Fuck that.
THC candy.
That's where the
that looked like
the
nerd
lawsuit
rope.
came in because 50 West and Urban Artifact were saying like this was a bill that was passed by the legislature that now one person is saying that's fine except for this one thing in here, and that is illegal. Like, in a lot of
I
towns.
don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, no, it's not a consensus of
If you
people
want
that
to talk
did this.
about
It's
quote,
Governor
the young
DeWine.
peoples or whatever, my daughter and people she hang out with, they don't touch alcohol. They don't like it.
Yeah.
They're much more into THC and hemp products, the gummies and all that other stuff. She's right there at the legal age to start doing that, and I feel maybe there's concern that if they continue to let it long term, maybe they think the alcohol industry will die and it'll be replaced entirely with the THC industry.
I don't think it'll
That
ever
makes
die.
sense. That makes sense if you're in Kentucky and you've got this big alcohol lobby
That's the
that's
only
creating
thing,
legislature.
That's the only thing that I can
That's
think
not
of.
what happened in Ohio.
You know?
But see, all those like the vast majority of alcohol producers or craft brewers, they have the ability to produce it, and then like we had the ability to produce it. We had our license, but then I taste Coastalo from Urban Artifact and Scotty. Like it was so good that I was like, fuck, I'm not going to make anything this good, so I'm just going to buy it. It's not expensive, and then I can upcharge it here. So, and we were selling like 10 cases a month, so it's not like a huge amount where I had a minimum production of like 30 or 40 barrels. So
I will add, I am promoting my local neighborhood market, ETC in Walnut Hills. They have the best breakfast burritos, and I go there so often that I'm now friends with the owners. And they were telling me today, the day after March 20th, when the ban began, that they sold their monthly average was 3% alcohol and wine and 5% THC. So it's not like, a lot of people, but I mean, 5% is a lot.
5% on a couple $1 million a year.
Right.
Is
Yeah.
still 5%.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. No, I mean that's sort of my point. It's like it's a significant enough part of their business that like it's horrible.
That's got to get cut somewhere, and unfortunately, that usually comes from jobs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, you're gonna kill jobs. Like that's what's gonna happen, because all the people that are producing it just bottom line looks a lot worse now. So.
So
Yeah.
outside of the THC, what else is your biggest whirlwind coming? Like for someone that's not doing THC, what is foot traffic still your challenge?
Yeah, so I mean, like what we see is like people my age. I'm getting ready to turn 40, so all of my friends, they've had kids, and while the kids were young, they were still able to go out to eat and drink and do all the things. But now their kids have gotten to a certain age where they're all playing sports, so now that's pulling them away from going out to eat a couple times a week. So what they're just not coming out. Well, the generation behind them that would normally fill that gap isn't there. So the younger generation, not only do they drink less, they just don't go out to eat. Like they don't come in the building. Now they'll do DoorDash and they're happy to spend
And they don't leave the
$30.
basement.
What's that?
They don't leave the basement.
Right. Yeah. They don't socialize. They're happy to spend $30 on a Big Mac from McDonald's as long as it's delivered to them. But they don't want to spend.
is $30.
If you
Well,
DoorDash,
I mean,
Yeah,
if you
DoorDash.
Yeah.
That's
I
insane.
don't really DoorDash.
Yeah,
That's
it's good for
crazy.
you. Yeah, it's wild.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's wild.
Like the delivery fees, that DoorDash is blown up for a reason.
That's crazy.
But you can get a $15 burger and fries here, but people say it's too expensive even if I have to come in here. You're
They
like,
just
Interesting.
kids
Like,
don't want to
wow.
leave the house.
yeah, they just don't want to leave. They like their little bubble. They want to Netflix and chill and doom scroll on Instagram.
Some of that I wonder
Like-
is like, we're talking about like things never getting back to normal from the pandemic.
It's COVID,
Some of
yeah.
that, I
Yeah.
wonder
Oh, yeah,
if
yeah.
it's definitely just an effect of that. They got comfortable during the pandemic of, well, I want that McDonald's. The only way I'm going to get it is, the only way I can get it is to DoorDash it. So they got comfortable with that lifestyle, and that's just what they're used to.
It's a couple things. It's COVID, and then it's the rise of the internet and that whole thing. Like I don't know that it would have been different without COVID. Like
They're the first
they
gener-
socialize so differently than we did.
And they're
They-
the first generation to have the internet.
Yeah, for
like
their
we
entire lives.
didn't. I don't know how old you are, but we
Old enough.
Yeah, we grew up without the internet, or at
You
least
grew up
access
without
to
the
the
internet,
internet.
you
We didn't
Luddite.
have phones until high school or middle school or whatever. Right? These kids are in diapers playing with an iPad.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think that has a lot to do with it. Not that I have any sort of science to back that up, but just anecdotally, you can kind of just see it, you know.
So I do have for all your parents that have to go to sporting events, you need to get like a beer ice cream truck. Go to the sporting events. Then there you go.
Shout out to the state of Ohio.
They need to stop in at Loose Ends Brewing Company and pick up a 4-pack to take to their sporting event. I can't manage all of the sporting events.
Listen, as a
In
parent,
Centerville.
there are ways to bring beer to any sporting event you want to bring to and have a beer while you're sitting and watching your kids playing baseball.
Right.
You just gotta get on Amazon. There's lots of fun little contraptions.
You know those like that was the trim with the like the big cups. Those are great.
Have you ever seen the ones where they have like the fake Coca-Cola sleeve that
that's a
can
good
go
one.
over one? I
I
love those. Those are fun.
The real trick is just a Yeti. Just
Yeah.
pour your beer in a Yeti and nobody questions it.
I just have like I don't know if you guys see it, like that
Never
little
done that at a
blue
kid's football
16
game.
ounce like can.
Yeah.
I just this is an energy drink. Like, and if I'm feeling bold, I don't even care. I walk my dog in the park with a fucking beer. I don't care.
I walk around the block every night with a beer in my hand,
Yeah.
and
It's fine.
it's America.
You guys should be more worried about THC than
I saw some kids over in the park drinking weed.
Yeah.
Go get them.
They had a 50 milligram. I can't believe it.
I smelled
They were 8 years
I smelled
old.
cotton candy. They were definitely vaping some weed. Get them.
Did you see that nerd rope? It was a THC nerd rope. I swear on my life.
So I saw Gnome, you were in Virginia, talk about your beer with some of the breweries.
Yeah. So, first half of my trip when I was down there, I was very depressed about the beer scene. It took me almost an entire week to find the breweries, but once I did, it was actually really good.
Where in Virginia?
Richmond.
Okay.
So
Should have called me.
I went to Stone. That was disappointing.
Yeah.
That was my first stop. It was really.
Did you make it to Benchtop? They have a location in Richmond.
Benchtop?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, my buddy owns. So they're in Norfolk, but he's got a second location in Richmond.
So
he makes
like
killer beer.
Where in Richmond? Do you know?
Oh, I have no
Because
idea.
that was
I've only been to the
that was the
Norfolk
biggest
one.
thing for me. So I was down there for work. I didn't have my car. I was trying to figure out between Ubers and the bus system how I could move around the city, and it was really complicated. It took me a week to figure it out. Like where the neighborhoods are
Just
that
in
have
time,
breweries.
just long enough for you to leave.
Just long enough to be like, oh, I need to go revisit this place and this place and this place. Yeah, and there was good beer. I will admit, as a homer for Cincinnati, like sometimes I feel like Cincinnati is the only place in the world that makes great beer, because I've been to a lot of cities that you get there and it just sucks. And it's sometimes it takes a while to unlock the things within that city that are
You're
good.
including Centerville.
Yeah, we're annexed in. Just this little parking lot is annexed in.
Southwestern Ohio region. Let's just go with that.
Dayton is the biggest Cincinnati suburb, and I will accept them with open arms. It's hard when you go to other cities sometimes. Like it's hard to find good beer and beer that like kind of meets your standards. But
I'll second that. I spent a lot of time in Detroit recently for my work in the last couple of years, and finding decent craft in the Detroit area is harder than it should be, I think.
I hope Motor City Brewing Company is still open in Detroit. That was one of my first breweries that I ever went to.
They were always good.
Oh man, it hooked me. And
Holmes,
Atwater,
I think, has a
but I think
location
they're
in
owned by
Detroit. They're pretty
somebody
damn
terrible
good.
now.
We're trying to get them down here for our beer festival this year.
Okay.
But yeah, Holmes is really good. Very, very good. There's another one in Detroit that I went to last year, and I can't remember the name of it, but very, very good.
I feel like Detroit is like one of those cities that is primed for like great beer right now. It's like the city that like is kind of down on its luck and everybody shits on, and so it's like craft beer has this chance to form this kind of underbelly of happiness.
Yeah, I think it's been going on, but it's not just elevated to like getting well known yet, you know?
Just like Gatlinburg, right?
Oh, Gatlinburg's terrible. Gatlinburg
For beer?
yeah,
Or just in general?
both.
in general.
Not according to the multiple billboards I see on the highway.
Gatlinburg is fine, but like
Gatlinburg feels like one gigantic tourist trap. What are you talking
if
about?
you want to drink a beer, it's a bad spot. Like,
Yeah.
But I think that
get your
Gatlinburg is
smoky
primed for somebody to open up a tap room there. Like it doesn't matter who you are, any kind of there are plenty of big
cost of
breweries.
entry.
Well, no, but it just costs too much money. Your $1 per square in Gatlinburg is going to be way too expensive for
How many
somebody.
people are walking up and down that strip that we just stop in for a beer?
But you've got an off season too, right? So
Just like the Dayton Dragons, the 2 breweries I went around the Dragons seeing.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
was it 6 Mile? No.
Yeah, but with global warming, that'll be a year-long season soon enough.
Or soon you're not gonna have a baseball season next year, probably anyway. So
Yeah, Richmond was fine. It was fine. Guar Bar. Guar's from Richmond. If you've never been to Guar Bar, if you ever go to Richmond.
Isn't the Vale in Richmond?
Vale's, yeah. Okay.
where did you know?
Vale and the Answer are both in Richmond.
Oh yeah, and Answer. Yeah.
On our
It's
roller
like a
coaster
bank.
trip, there was
You
like
walk
an
in.
astronaut theme bar. I think it was. Was it Virginia or was that West Virginia?
No, it was West Virginia. It was a astronaut.
Astro Brewing or something
Astro.
like that. Hang on. Let me.
Astro Brewing?
They had
Sounds
an
fun.
astronaut on their logo.
Okay.
Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to Google
So,
it.
yeah, Vale and the Answer both feel like banks when you walk in. There's like turnstiles you have to walk through to
Really?
order your beer. There's no stools at the bar. It was just very weird, kind of just very.
I guess that's the problem
unfriendly.
you get when you have like lines of hundreds of people standing in,
Yeah, but
in line
but
for
like
your
again,
beer.
Homer, Rheingeist. Rheingeist definitely has more people that walk through that door than they do.
Yeah,
They
I
also
think
have
they're-
more floors you have to cross before you can
They
grab
and,
beer.
and yes, they don't have bar stools at the bar at Rheingeist
Yeah.
unless you go to the roof. But it doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel like
I
you're.
think those are two completely different like business. Like the Vale and the Answer are like cult following. I wait in line for a beer release.
Yeah.
Rheingeist is just a massive regional that makes high quality products,
Yeah.
right? So they're- like those. And like I said, I've not been to the Richmond locations, and I mean maybe they have
the beer was
turnstiles
good. Beer was
because
good.
of whatever volume on that specific day or something, for a
but-
release. But
I went to both of them. I think on like a. Oh no, I was there on a weekend, but it wasn't that busy. It was,
Yeah.
it was dumb.
just awkward.
Yeah, it was dumb.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. Made me feel not welcome, but the beer was good.
Yeah, I mean, again, but they probably had those problems because they've been around since 2015.
Shout
and
out-
then, like,
Shout out to Bingo Brewing Company. It was right on like kind of whatever that main street through Richmond is. They have like an arcade in the back. Really, really cool spot. Good food, pizza, and like chicken tenders and stuff like that. Just normal food, kind of bar food. Kids will be happy with it. Place was packed. Great service. Bar seats. Great lagers. It was just a good little beer garden. Really, really great spot. Way busier than both the Vale and the Answer were.
oh, nice.
And way better experience.
I gotta get your opinion on La Rosa's Tap Room.
Listen, I hate La Rosa's as far as pizza goes, but
Man, it was a thing when I was growing up.
it was a thing when I was growing. It's a thing now, but like it's just not that good. But like I love the idea. Like I think the idea of them joining forces and making this tap room is
Who
smart.
are they partnering with? Or just
Big Ash,
Oh, okay.
self-serve tap wall kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
I'm excited for the Skyline taps.
I'm so excited for that.
what?
Jesus.
Like
Yeah.
Skyline Chili?
Yeah, Skyline on Fountain Square. They're opening.
It's gonna be like the epitome
their
of
beer.
amazing.
They're not
during
making
baseball
it
season.
It's just going to be
Yeah.
beer. They're going to have just a bunch of different beers and a full bar, which I think is
Is it going to be
Uh,
like a
not a
self-serve
full
model
bar.
as
Not
well?
a full bar. They're doing
I don't know.
just wine and beer. I think. I have to go back to
I
my
could
notes
just
and check that
imagine like
thing.
Skyline doing a like I used to work at the Skyline here when they first opened up in Centerville 20 freaking years ago. But I could imagine like they just have like chafing dishes and you walk up and you make your own cheese coney and then you go pour your own beer.
I
like,
guarantee you
like-
they'd lose money so fast on
Oh
that.
yeah,
though.
but they're making so much money on beer. Like who?
Right,
yeah.
Who, like
The only question on that is the Skyline chili collabs that have been out beer flavor wise and the Skyline chili. Will they have that on tap?
I imagine they will at
Eventually,
times.
yeah.
Like when somebody does a Skyline collaboration, I'm sure it'll be on tap there.
before you know it, we'll have Skyline Chili Beer Day. You know.
I'm all
Like
about
Free
it.
Coney Day coming up
Yeah.
on opening day.
So with that, with La Rosa Skyline, do you see other businesses that if this goes well, they could say, "Hey, we can copy this"?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're
Yeah.
already seeing it. Places like Graders and Dewey's with Braxton, and like everybody's trying to find a way to partner with each other to, help kind of build different industries. That this is down right now. This is down right now. You balance it out.
Yeah, I mean, we're always on the hunt for like more private. We do private labels for 3 different companies right now. We're always on the hunt for more. just because they're a little bit more mature businesses and they have multiple locations, so it helps push volume. So I can make 10 barrel batch split across 3 tap room or 3 locations, and it goes, a lot quicker than just doing 10 barrels here. So we're always looking for that, and I think you see that smaller places do that quite a bit, where I think Street Side has something with Old Scratch and Warpwing has something with Old Scratch. There's a couple other ones around town, but those are the top ones that come to our mind.
As a beer drinker, like if I walk into a place and I see they have a beer, even if I know it's a white label beer, I am like 10 times more likely to order that over something else. I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I'm going to try it.
Yeah, I'm the guy that makes the beer, and I'm still going to do that.
But I'm poking it like, hey, who makes this? What is this? And I'm trying to figure out is this a beer that like is only made for here? Is this like just a relabeling of something else? Then I'm trying to figure it out as a nerd. But like as a craft beer fan, like I want something local and something different, and like having something that is special. I'm always about.
So, do any of you guys have any big projects coming up anywhere? No.
Got more projects than I can list on this podcast.
Beer related.
Yes.
Not for me. Nothing beer related. Just welding and cutting things.
There you go.
Nothing beer related.
No.
Just reading, listening, and writing things.
I mean, I got all kinds of things beer related, but Cincy Drinks magazine is my biggest project, releasing this year. I'm calling it this year. Summer.
And you have a museum too,
summer,
don't
spring.
you?
I don't have a museum. I was working
The Gnarly
with them.
Museum?
No. So I was helping promote the American Museum of Brewing. I'm going to get the name wrong. With the Brewing Heritage Trail. But no,
cool.
I've got a documentary coming out with them too. That's big, coming out in May 2nd. We're doing a premiere event at Urban.
Is this ticketed or?
A ticketed event.
What's the name of the
Museum?
documentary?
It's called A Light in the Tunnel.
Enlighten the Tunnel.
Yeah.
Oh, is it about their...
Bruckman. It's about the Bruckman Brewery and the
Very cool.
restoration
Nice.
process
That's
on
really
that
cool.
space. That's been years in the making. That's a huge project. But Cincy Drink magazine is also years in the making.
Projects, beer related, tons. We've got our next fast selling, like the PBJ stuff. That stuff goes crazy. So we have our next release May 6th.
Yeah, I got a request to bring some of that home.
Yeah, so May 6th. I'll see you then.
What's the next one?
It'll be blueberry, and then we're gonna do a six-stole of because it's for Cinco de Mayo. We're gonna take our grape and add jalapenos and habaneros and make a spicy version.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that'll be kind of cool. But we're only making 5 gallons of it for that very specific reason. So you never know how that stuff will go over. But
Do you guys have a full bar here?
Mm-hmm.
So you can get a shot of tequila and dump it in there? Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
And
Just
the
for
best
science.
brewery shot in the world,
Yeah.
Underberg's.
Underbergs, yeah, we got
I love
Bergs.
some undies.
Yeah. So, as far as other projects, I mean, I got so much, I can't even list it all.
Because you
So,
mentioned that the lager.
the festival. Yeah, Glizzies and Fizzies. Yeah, we're doing that again this year. I'm really excited about it. So all the emails went out. So the Ohio's premier lager and hot dog festival coming to you on July 18th. So,
I love me some tubular meat.
Get that wieners in your mouth, kids.
That's right.
yes, and the jokes are never ending. It's perfect. That's exactly why we did it. So
I love wieners.
we're bringing back some people from breweries from last year, but we've got some other folks from out of state. I'm not 100% sure on who's committed out of state yet, but I know it's some really exciting people that we've met over the past 18 months about everything. So we're going down, or I'm going to a couple festivals this year and pouring to they're out of state and try to get them to come to us. So very excited. People from Texas, Denver, and where's the other one? That is North Carolina, and always have people in Chicago coming down. So we got a bunch of stuff. So
All right, we'll have to keep an eye on that. But most importantly, thank you for this day
oh yeah,
and stuff like
thank
that.
you.
This has been such an awesome experience.
Yeah, this has been fun.
Yes, and the beer is good.
Beer's great.
Yeah, love it when the beer turns out great. So.
You can find it at Loose Ends. I'm sure keep an eye on my socials when I see it and other places. I'll point it out so people can get to it. and stuff like that. So thank you again.
I'm going to fill my pockets before I leave, so if you see me tomorrow, I might have some left in my pockets.
All right.
I'm bringing home a couple cans himself. So
All right.
Yeah, it'll be around up in Troy and downtown Dayton. We've got customers already lined up, wholesale customers already lined up,
Oh,
whip
cool.
and buy kegs. So
Awesome.
keep an eye out.
Yes. And Noah,
Yes, sir.
it's been such a pleasure to have you back on here.
Hey, buddy, I always appreciate it.
Going
Congratulations.
back 4 years when the Brew Explorers launched, you gave me a path that I didn't see where I was heading, but
You
I do
didn't
appreciate
even
it. And Gnome, I can reach out to you on anything, and you're awesome. I appreciate it.
Reach out about
Ronald,
weed laws, Will.
and I've also enjoyed having you as well.
we enjoy having you on Misbeerhaivor.
And I will be on there in maybe a couple weeks.
It's a pleasure having you with like or something. Yeah. I could give the normal like perverted spiel, but this isn't my podcast, so I'll be polite.
Thank you. So, you've been listening to Blake's Craft Beer Podcast. Stay tuned for more episodes.
Heck yeah.
See, I doubt anybody in the